Hey, it's Sarah from Made on the Comment, and this is another in the series of videos on using your Etsy bookkeeping template. So in this video I'm going to talk about the order information, so how to find that on Etsy, again downloading it and then copying and pasting the data into your template. So the order information, so most of the templates use the order file. The VAT registered template for the UK users uses the order by item file, but they're almost exactly the same in terms of where you find them and how you copy them in. So I'll cover them both in this one video. The one kind of tricky area on the order file is actually about the dates. So if you're not in the US, there are sometimes issues with the sale date used by Etsy, but there are converters built into the file, so you don't need to do anything with the data that you download from Etsy. You should be able to copy it straight in. So again, let's go back to Etsy first. From your shop manager, this is a bit more tricky to find. You have to go to settings, options, and then over here you'll find download data. And there are a few different reports that we can download from here. If we scroll down under this order section, there's actually 4 different types of report you can download. So there's order by item, order, which is literally just the total for each order. Etsy payment sales, which is used to reconcile your 1099 if you're in the US. And Etsy payment deposits, which is actually used in one of my other templates, the Etsy deposits manager, and that helps you reconcile the money you've actually received into your bank account. So I'll cover that one in a separate video. The two that we're interested in at the moment, most of the templates, like I say, use the orders. So check your instructions, but at the moment, at the time of recording, it's only the VAT registered template that uses order items, and that's because you might have some sales of 0 rated items, so we do need to go down to an item level. Most of the other templates we just need the orders, so click orders. This one you can either do a month at a time or you can do a whole year, which is quite handy. So if I wanted to do all of 2022 to date, you literally just put 2022 in there, leave it same month, and that will do everything kind of for the year so far, which is quite handy. You can go, oh, my mouse is playing up. You can go back and do kind of previous years. The templates only work back to 2018, so I wouldn't go back any further than that. But you can certainly do all of 2021. If you're wanting to do your tax year and you're in the UK, which is April to April, you could do the whole of 2021 and then the whole of 2022. And that would give you all the data you need. It doesn't matter that you've got more than you need, that's fine. So for this purpose, let me do 2022, download CSV. Again, it will appear either at the bottom or at the top, depending on what browser you're using. Safari seems to be okay for this one. It's funny for the Etsy payments, which I cover in a different video, but the orders seem to work. So we can then, again, I would save them into a folder on your computer so you can find them. But for now, I'm going to just open it straight up into Excel. If you're using Google Sheets, you need to upload this first onto your Google Drive, which I can cover in a different video. And then once it's there, you can just open it up in Google Sheets. So if I double click on it, okay, so when you open up your file in your spreadsheet program, it should look something like this. I've just grayed out some of the buyer information. There don't seem to be as many problems opening this file up in your spreadsheet as the Etsy payments, so hopefully when you open it up it'll be all nicely displayed out in columns. If it isn't, then you can use the same troubleshooting video about opening up a CSV file in Excel to help you get through that, but hopefully you won't have any problems. So the first thing, again, you might notice is that you can't see the dates. You get the hashtags in the cell. To fix that, you just need to make the column wider. So hover between the 2 columns until you get the black line and just drag it out until you see all of the columns. You can do the same with the date posted if you just want to kind of be able to display everything. So then we need to copy and paste this into your template, and you need to make sure you grab all of the data. There's a lot of columns on this one. So start in row 2. Again, always ignore the header row. So always start from your first row of actual data, which is normally 2. And then to get to the bottom, you can either hold down your mouse and just scroll like that, which can take a bit of time, or you can use a keypad. So if we so hold down the shift, press end and then down, and it should take you to the last row of data. It actually takes you to the first row that hasn't got anything in it, so always just check that you are right at the bottom in case there's a missing line. And then to go all the way over to the right hand side, again, in theory you can do end and your right arrow, but it will only take you to the first column where there's a blank. In my case it's C because I deleted my buyer information. So just hold down your arrow key and just go all the way over to the last column of information, which is AJ. So in the instructions, I know some people get a little bit confused and think they only need to go from A to J, and it's not, it's actually AJ column, which is the very end one. So just make sure you've got everything and then you'll be okay. And then to copy, 3 ways again, so home and copy, which is that one. Right click on your mouse and again you get the copy, or you can press Control and C on your keypad, or Command C if you're on a Mac. I'll just use this one, so copy, and you get the little kind of dotted line around it to show that it's been selected. So we then go to your template. So over in your template you want the Etsy order file sheet. If you're using the VAT registered template, you actually want Etsy order item, and it's a different file that we'll drop in, which I'll just cover at the very end of this video. But for all of the other templates, it's the Etsy order file. You want to go to row 2 again, and the column you're looking for where you want to drop it is the sale date column. So it will vary depending on which version of the template you're using. Some have less columns here, some have more. They're always kind of headed blue and greyed out. You want the first black one. It will always be called sale date. So click in row 2 if it's the first time you're adding your data. And then again, 3 ways to paste it in. You can do home and paste. You can right click and you want the first paste there, or you can Control and V or Command V on your keypad. It will all just copy in like that. So when you come to next month and you want to drop your data in kind of next time or next year, if you're doing a year at a time, you would just scroll down to the bottom of this list. So if I just press end and down, it will take me down. And then you can literally just paste it in here. I would always just double check that there are some formulas already kind of over on the left here, but then I should just be able to copy and paste, and it would just drop it straight in and it will just carry on working. Now that we've got our data in the template, the first thing we need to do is check that the dates are right, because we want your numbers to appear in the right month when we look at the order section on the Etsy summary. And occasionally they won't kind of work right. Now if you're in the US, you can drop your data in. You actually don't have these 2 columns in the US format, and you should just look at your year and month and they should be fine. So you can kind of ignore this next section. If you're in the UK or Australia, Canada, anywhere that doesn't use the US date format, you might see some kind of weird things in these 2 columns. And that's because my computer based in the UK is set up to read dates as day, month, year, and not month, day, year, which is how the Etsy format is. So for example, this is set to the US date format, so that is actually being read as the 6th of October. And that's what's getting picked up here. I actually want this to be the 10th of June. So for me, this is my June data. So this month here should all be 6. And if you scroll down, you actually find that some dates it can't interpret at all. And that's why you get this hashtag value. And that's because it's trying to read that as the 5th day of the 5th day of the 31st month, which obviously doesn't exist. And that's why this doesn't work. So I've fixed this for you by having this conversion date column in here, and if you're in Canada you'll actually see multiple dates, which I'll show you in a second. And the way that we fix this is go back to the start here page, and where you've got original date in here, just change it to converted date. And what that does is it tells the spreadsheet to use this date column and not this date, and the final date is because it's now looking at this one, and you can see that this is now all working correctly. So these are all getting picked up as June. These are all now May, so it doesn't matter, it's the 31st, it's the 27th, it's getting kind of correctly read as May. And so that's what this date conversion does. So you don't need to do anything to the data that comes from Etsy. You don't have to kind of go through and manually correct it. The spreadsheet will do it all for you, and with this date conversion. And if I very quickly show you the Canadian version, you'll see that in this one we actually have multiple date conversions, and that's because the regional settings that you use in Canada, so based on your province and how you put your dates in, mean that there's actual different options that you might need to use. So what you need to do in that case on the Start Here page is literally just kind of flick through. So if the original date doesn't work, try A. If I go to A, we can see that that's okay, those ones are working, but scroll down, you know, these might actually, A looks like it's working okay in this format. You might need to try B. So if I go to B, you can see that isn't working because now it's picking up some of the years as 2012, and so you might need to see. So just play around. One of them should always work. I've kind of fixed this now, so I don't think I've come across anybody, certainly in the last few months, that it hasn't worked for. So I think we've covered all options. I won't always swear to that, but hopefully it will work. So again, this sale date will never change. Whichever template you're using, the sale date is always the data that comes from Etsy. And then the template will use the final date for its year and month, depending on which one you choose. So that's kind of how it all works. If I just go back to the kind of the base template. So we've got your data in, we've got the dates converted right, these are getting kind of picked up properly. So the two bits of information that we're actually pulling from this file, which is why kind of we need to drop it in, are the shipping income and any sales tax that's been kind of added. So if we go all the way over here to where we get kind of the number columns, so if you charge shipping separately to your customers, so you don't include it as free shipping within the item, it will show up in this column here, delivery. So it might not be Z again, it will vary, but it's the one that's headed delivery, and that any numbers that are in there get pulled through onto your payment account into this shipping income column. And again, the actual column kind of letter might change, but it's the one titled shipping income. And that's what gets picked up here, and then we'll see that pulled out separately in your Etsy summary. The other bit of information that we use from the order file is the sales tax. So this one gets completed if sales tax has been charged to your customer and then paid to you for you to remit to the tax authorities. So it doesn't include anything that Etsy have added themselves and then kind of remit themselves. That isn't shown separately in the order file. So this sales tax column is only if kind of you've told Etsy you need to add sales tax, it then gets included in your payment and you then remit it back to the tax authorities. And on the US and Canada templates, actually I'll show you that on the Canada one, that will then get picked up in this column here that's titled Sales Tax U. So the shipping income, you can see there it's moved, but it's in there, and the Sales Tax U get picked up, and also actually it will also pick up the country and the state from the order file, because that information isn't included in your payment account, so that will also get pulled through from your order file. And that's everything from your order file. So you know now how to add it, how to fix your dates, and which bits of information it's using. In the next video, I'll take you through where this all information all gets pulled through onto your Etsy summary, so you can see how your numbers all come together and what that shows you. I just wanted quickly to show you the difference with the UK VAT registered template. So on all of the other versions that I have available, you download your order file and you will see Etsy order file in here. But the VAT registered one, it's actually your order by item file that you need. That's because we need to go down to item level to work out whether your item is 0 rated or standard rated for VAT. So to download your data, it's almost exactly the same. If we go back to the shop dashboard, so again, it's under settings, options, download data. Can we get there? Download data. and it's in the same area, but this time we need to make sure that we choose order items. Again, you can do a month or year at a time. So if I do 2022 and download the CSV, so once that has finished downloading, obviously there's more lines because it's individual items within an order that get downloaded this time, so not just the total for each order, so you might get multiple lines. So open that one up, and so if you do mistakenly kind of open this by mistake, you see you get item name in here now. So again, we can just copy all the way to the bottom, go all the way across. So this one goes to AG, so it has slightly less columns. Copy again, go to the template, and again you're looking for the sale date. So there's more formula columns in this template because it obviously has to do the VAT calculation for you. Find the sale date and then just paste it in as before. Because this is set up for UK sellers, it has the date conversion built into this. It assumes you will need that date conversion because, like I say, it's only for UK sellers, and being in the UK, we do need to convert the date. So you can just double check that, but you can see they're all pulling through the right June number. And that's the only difference really. The payment account is exactly the same as we've seen in previous videos. Drop in your order by item, and then again, we'll get through to the Etsy summary. Just a quick add-on. So the way that this works, how it calculates the VAT, is it looks at a combination of the item you've sold and the country that you've sold to. So at the moment, we only calculate VAT on UK sales. So if it's VATable, this is looking at the country sold to and says if it's the UK, then it's VATable. If it's the USA, Canada, or somewhere in Europe, really the rest of the world, it's not. And then the tax rate picks up from the zero rated. So if you have items that are zero rated, if you sell children's clothes, or even if you have some digital products where Etsy's calculated the VAT, I would add them onto here because you don't want to calculate the VAT again. And it will look on that. If it doesn't find your item on the zero rated sheet, it will calculate it as 20% VAT and add up the total VAT for the item and for any shipping that you've charged. And those then get pulled through onto this payment account. You'll see again there's more columns. So you've now got VAT kind of built into these formula columns. But that's the only difference. So you add your data the same way. And then when we come to look at the Etsy summary sheet, we'll look at the differences on there.